Episode 7, Chapter 6, Prehysteria. Chapter 6, Prehysteria. January 19th, 65 million BC. Ow! Chrono rubbed his head. What had happened? Let's see. He had gone in the gate with Marl and Luca. He had looked down. He had discovered he wasn't standing on anything. Oh, yeah. The teen suddenly felt something sniffing at him. Oh, great. Chrono forced himself to his feet. Nearby, he heard the girls doing the same. A sharp hiss came from in front of him. Then, they opened their eyes and almost screamed.
They're all green and scaly,
Marl yelped. Indeed, the creatures looked to be half dinosaur and half human. And they looked distinctly unfriendly.
I don't think they like us,
Chrono observed. On cue, the creatures surrounded the three, leaving no escape. It looked like they were goners. But fate was with them, as a cave woman charged from the right. Luca shook her head.
She's a goner.
But the scientist was far wrong, as the cave woman smashed through the enemy ranks like a natural disaster. Dino people flew in all directions, squealing. The three did a collective jaw drop as the surviving enemy ran for the hills like a T-Rex was on their tail. The woman stood her ground, shrieking unintelligible insults after them. When they were gone, she turned to the three. Chrono gulped.
Let's hope she's not territorial.
Fortunately, it appeared she wasn't, as she dropped to her hands and knees and began sniffing at Chrono's feet. He groaned and face-palmed.
Again with the sniffing? Why me?
The cave woman stood up.
Isla smell that man is good fighter. Isla like.
Luca immediately began laughing her butt off, while Marl growled and muttered,
she better not get too friendly.
The woman sniffed at the girls next.
Women good fighter too. Isla like also.
This just made Luca laugh harder. Marl calmly grabbed the scientist's head and rammed it into the wall until she stopped. Chrono looked at the new lady.
Hi. I'm Chrono, and they're Marl and Luca. What's your name?
She grinned and let out a howl.
Isla.
After she was done, the three uncovered their ears and Chrono spoke up again.
Okay, AI. Nice to meet you, Isla.
She grinned.
Where come from?
Chrono blinked. Luca decided to try explaining it.
We're from way after the day after tomorrow.
Isla scowled.
What you say? No talk rubbish or Isla, head go boom.
Luca backed up.
Yo. I don't think she understands, guys.
Marl sighed.
Isla, where do you come from?
Isla pointed to the west.
Ioka village. We go.
Without warning, she took off at full throttle. The three half-heartedly followed her.
Hey, Kilwillas.
Chrono noted. 4 of the white fuzzies were dancing around a large rock in a surset.
Hey, guys. What's up?
The Kilwillas shrieked and charged at him, waving spears. As the three ran, Marl commented,
Chrono, do you remember that movie Specchio showed us about pygmies? Shut up.
A day's hike later, they found Ioka Village, a community of rough tents made of dinosaur hide on the banks of a river. Isla turned to the three.
Isla go now. Busy. Chrono talk to people.
Off she went. The three spent about an hour talking to the people about many different things. One man said that lightning stunned dinosaurs. A woman told them that the chief had the red rock. Several children commented that they wore strange skins. One particularly dull man asked them if they were reptiles.
Right, enough socializing with Neanderthals. Where's Isla?
Chrono was tired.
Maybe she's at that big area they won't let us in,
Marl suggested. However, the caveman at the entrance simply said, "Go see Chief."
Not ready yet.
As they walked off, Chrono saw one tent that was decorated more colorfully than the others.
Is that the chief's hut? Let's see, girls.
Inside, Isla was puttering with a pot of something. Luca blinked.
Isla. You're the chief.
Isla heard them and turned around, smiling.
Yes, Isla chief. Party now.
It grew dark quickly. As soon as the sun set, the entire village moved to the blocked-off area. The three could now see that it was a festival ground. Isla stood up on a podium made of leaves and branches.
New friends. Strong man, Chrono. Strong women, Marl, Luca. UNGAAH.
The cave people yelled.
Party now. Dance. Food. Fun.
The music started up, and Chrono almost choked. It was almost the exact same tune played by a band at the fair. He turned to Luca, who had had a similar reaction.
I think I should talk to the musicians.
Luca nodded.
Good idea. I'll sample the poi. Where's Marl? I dunno. She slipped off.
The musicians told Chrono that they passed the song down with every generation. Apparently, it even lasted to the 11th century. As he started to walk back to Luca, a hand grabbed his arm and he whirled around. It was Marl, and she was dancing.
Dance with me, Chrono.
The teen blushed.
I don't dance very well.
Marl stopped and pouted.
Oh, pooh. You've just never tried. Come on. Please.
He sighed.
Fine. Just this once.
She immediately cheered up.
Yay. Thanks.
She led him into the crowd, and they danced. Chrono was pretty bad at first, like he had said, but the rhythm was simple, and he soon picked it up and was dancing like a pro. Ooga bunga munga meeple. Dance with wind people. Ooga bunga munga meeple. Dance with mountain people. Ooga bunga munga might. Sing and dance all night. As they danced, Chrono suddenly felt a burning pair of eyes on him. Looking around, he saw a single caveman on the edge of the party, glaring at him. What's with that guy? Chrono wondered as he was pulled away by Marl.
See, I told you it would be fun.
Marl told him.
Yeah. It was, wasn't it?
Chrono admitted. Marl smiled.
Chrono? Thanks.
Then she kissed him, and fireworks exploded in his head. The moment seemed to last forever, and even after she broke it off, his brain stayed frozen. She laughed at his vacant stare.
Let's go see how Luca and Isla are doing, shall we?
Dumbly, he followed her. Luca was grinning as they walked up.
Hey, Marl. What you do to him?
Marl blushed.
I kissed him.
Luca burst out laughing.
Yeah, that would do it. Hey, Chrono. Have some poi.
Chrono mutely sat down and Luca gave him a bowl. He took a sip and immediately started spitting, back to normal.
Argh. Luca, what is this? Jurassic poi. What else? Come on. Are you a man or a mouse?
Glaring at her, Chrono chugged the bowl. When he was done, Luca laughed drunkenly.
Ha 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 burp.
Now it was Chrono's turn to laugh. Marl moaned.
Great. They're drunk on poi.
She noticed Chrono was gone.
Hey. Luca, where'd Chrono go? He said something about Isla and the Dream Stone.
Isla smiled and dug around in a pile of stuff.
Isla here Chrono want red rock, so Isla bring.
Luca and Marl ran up just in time to see Isla pull out a red crystal as big as a football.
Rare red rock sign of power. Isla strongest in tribe, so Isla have. Chrono want, then Chrono must beat Isla.
Marl gasped.
Chrono, don't even think about it. You'll be creamed.
Chrono, however, didn't hear her.
Okay.
Isla grinned wolfishly, then stood up.
This party, so we no fight. We have contest. Bring plenty soup.
Caveman brought over a pair of huge pots, each filled to the brim with poi.
Whoever drink pot first win red rock. Start now.
With that, Isla picked up her pot and started chugging. Chrono blinked owlishly and attempted to do the same, but it was too heavy, so he resorted to sticking his head in. Luca was actually rolling around with laughter, while Marl refused to watch. Isla had gotten the lead, but Chrono was catching up. Isla kept the lead, though. It looked hopeless. As she was about to finish, she dropped it. Yelling, she picked it up, but it was too late. Chrono was done. Sighing, she handed over the rock.
Enough. Chrono win. Red rock is Chrono's.
Marl cheered.
Chrono, you did it. Chrono? Chrono.
But he didn't hear her. He had passed out. Marl grumbled and decided to watch Luca do the drunken sailor's hornpipe on front stage. In the morning, the first thing Chrono saw when he woke up was a dead fish.
Hell of a way to start the day,
he muttered as he raised himself off the food area. Looking around, he saw Marl sleeping on a huge leaf near him, and Luca in a tree.
Oi! Marl! Wake up! Yawn. Oh, hi, Chrono.
She smiled as she got up.
Great party! Where's Luca?
Chrono pointed into a tree, and she laughed as he walked under her, grabbed the branch, and shook it wildly.
What the yaa?
With a resounding crash, Luca landed face first. A moment later, she had Chrono by the throat.
Grr.
Chrono pulled her hand off his neck and backed off.
Hey, calm down, drunk girl.
She seemed offended.
Drunk girl. Liar. I was a perfect lady last night. Although I seem to have lost track of several hours.
She ran into the bushes, and Marl wrinkled her nose at the sound of the scientist's retching. After the noise stopped, there was silence for a moment, followed by a startled yelp as Luca ran back in.
The gate key. It's gone. Whaaaaaat.
Chrono screamed. Marl looked around frantically.
Hey! Look, footprints with claws. Claws.
Luca pondered.
Let's go see Isla about this.
Isla appeared to be still asleep. Chrono started to go in, but Luca and Marl firmly pulled him back.
Let her fellow women wake her up.
Chrono gave in and stayed outside. He heard them talking for a few minutes, followed by a loud war cry and Isla dashing out, her face like a thundercloud.
Chrono. Luca say your stuff gone. True.
Chrono nodded, and Isla let out another war cry.
Must be reptites. We go to reptite lair. Get Chrono stuff back.
Isla paused.
Problem. We take only 3 people, or reptites see us coming. No good.
Luca sighed, then raised a hand.
I'll stay. I wanna learn how to make that Jurassic poi, anyways.
Isla nodded.
Okay. Luca stay. Chrono, Marl and Isla go to reptite lair.
According to Isla, the reptite lair was in the forest maze to the south. However, the first thing they saw in the maze was not a reptite, but the angry caveman that had been glaring at Chrono during the party last night. Isla immediately ran up.
Kino! What you doing here?
The caveman turned, a sad expression on his face.
Isla. Tell Isla. Now. Kino. Take Chrono stuff. But reptites follow. Steal stuff.
Isla growled and whacked Kino over the head, smashing him to the ground. Marl blinked.
Ow. I'd say that's an understatement.
Chrono commented as Kino got back up. Isla growled.
Why Kino do this?
Kino looked down.
Isla like Chrono. Kino no like.
Chrono and Marl both sweat dropped as Isla yelled some more.
Kino dummy. Isla like Kino best. Now get back to village.
Kino nodded and ran away. Isla looked after him.
Kino is strongest man in village. So if Isla die, Kino is next chief.
She shook her head, throwing off her mood.
We go to reptite lair now.
The trip through the maze was fairly uneventful, with only a few fights, mostly with giant cave apes, angry gold eaglets or more pygmy kilwillas. When they reached the end of the maze, in front of them was a large mountain. Chrono groaned.
More mountain climbing.
Isla shook her head.
No. Reptites inside mountain.
She led them over to one side, and Chrono saw a large cave in the side. Marl smiled.
Ah, the mountain is hollow. Well, at least we don't have to climb it. I think one trip through the Dinodoro Mountains was enough to last me a while.
Inside, the cave was surprisingly well lit from torches on the walls. Isla started to lead them in, then drew them back, hissing,
Evil weevils.
Marl blinked.
Surely we can take em.
Isla grinned, then pressed her finger to her lips. The 3 watched as one of the evil weevils turned its pointed nose to the ground and dug a large hole, then crawled in. As soon as it had, Isla ran straight forward and dived in. After a moment of surprise, Chrono and Marl followed, ignoring the shrill cries of the other evil weevils. The hole quickly led to a large room, and Chrono saw Isla facing off the evil weevil in a pink and green flower. The evil weevil already had a large dent in its side. As Chrono and Marl ran over, the bug plunged its proboscis into the plant's blossom. With a squeal, it shriveled and died, but the dent in the evil weevil flat-teened out, and the bug charged, sticking Chrono in the arm. The retaliatory slash sent it across the room, and Isla finished it off with a well-aimed punch. Chrono winced as the wound spurted, and Marl prepared to cast Aura. However, Isla beat her to it. As she blew him a kiss, a wave of pink energy washed over him, and the wound was healed. That felt a lot like Marl's aura, he thought as the girls dragged him down the next hole. A 2-ton mass of blubber and scales met them.
Crap! A megasaur!
According to paleontologists, these dinosaurs were among the most feared predators of the time, along with their stronger relatives, the pterosaurs. Chrono decided to start things off the best way he knew how.
Lightning!
He was completely unprepared for the response, it shrieked and went completely limp. Isla was gaping.
Chrono! How you do?
He smiled.
It's called magic,
she thought.
Magique! Only Azala be able to do like that before.
Marl facepalmed.
This Azala knows magic. Just great. Isla, would ya mind taking out this fat lug before he wakes up?
Isla obligingly spun into a somersault and finished with a kick that imploded the beast's forehead, and down they went. Landing in what appeared to be a break room for the reptites. Chrono groaned loudly as they surrounded the three.
Blast this déjà vu! Run for it!
Isla led the charge for the door, smashing through any reptites in the way, while Chrono kept the ones following them at bay with lightning, and Marl picked off the snipers with her bow. When they got through the door, another megasaur met them. One more lightning, and the dinosaur went limp like the other. Isla grinned, and with a rolo kick to its rear, she plugged the door with the inert monster. Chrono paused and surveyed their surroundings. To their right was a cave ape and a pair of the mushroom-like shit apes, and a dead end. While to the left was a large door, guarded by 2 reptites and a megasaur. Marl pointed at the left path.
To Azala! Che Arch!
As the 3 whipped their heads up, Chrono used his normal opener.
Lightning!
Nothing happened.
Gah! Out of magic power!
As he rummaged in his pack for a mid-ether, Isla took out one of the reptites. And the megasaur knocked her flying. Marl screamed.
Isla! Cure!
So, Marl's developed a more powerful healing spell.
Lightning!
The megasaur crumpled, and the healed Isla quickly flattened the other reptite while Marl fired a bolt directly into the megasaur's eye.
Well, time for our appointment with the bossman. I wonder if he'll have coffee and donuts.
Azala sighed as he heard the results of the scuffle outside. Memo to self, get better bodyguards next time. He also decided that he would pretend not to notice them at first and continue examining the strange apparatus.
How on earth could the apes have made something this advanced?
He muttered absently as they charged in.
Mr. Azala, your 3 o'clock is here.
Chrono wisecracked. The reptite leader turned and stared at him.
What the hell are you babbling about, kid? Interesting. You two look nothing like Isla or the rest of those howling savages.
He turned a cold smile to her.
My dear, you look the same as always. Barbaric.
Isla was not interested in exchanging pleasantries.
Give back Chrono stuff. Now. So that's his name, eh? Chrono.
Azala looked back at the teen.
Well, Chrono. I may give it back, if you tell me what it does. Now.
Chrono could tell the reptite leader was spoiling for a fight, and no matter what they said, the result would be the same.
It's an atomic flying toaster, you idiot.
Azala was not amused.
Trying to be funny? We'll see how much you're laughing in a moment. Hiri, Nisbal. Who or what is a Nisbal?
Chrono asked Marl, who had gone white.
You don't want to know.
As a huge form lumbered into view from the back of the cave, Chrono went pale as well.
Oh, shit.
It seemed a good thing to say. Nisbal was as big as Masamune had been, but where it had been yellow and fat, Nisbal had tough-looking grey scales and the figure of a master bodybuilder. Isla immediately charged in with a rolo kick, but Nisbal knocked her back with one lumbering foot.
Lightning.
Like the Megasaurs, Nisbal was immediately stunned by the electric attack. As Marl fixed up Isla, the cave woman assaulted her enemy, bashing and pounding everywhere. It seemed the lightning had dropped Nisbal's defenses as well. Chrono took the initiative as well, spin-cutting deep into Nisbal's back. This seemed to jar Nisbal, and with a scream, the Dino sent the electric energy back, rushing through the room. All three fell back, and Nisbal followed up with a crushing charge. Chrono angrily sent another lightning that stopped him in his tracks, and he turned to Azala.
Hey, Azala, do you know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
He leapt into the air with a spin cut, and Marl fired an ice into his path. With a brutal crunch, the frigid blade impaled Nisbal's skull, and the mighty monster collapsed.
Unbelievable! You apes beat Nisbal!
Azala shrieked. Isla strode over and grabbed the gate key out of his slimy grasp, then tossed him to the back. He stood up, and as a secret exit activated, he tossed out a parting shot.
Remember, we reptiles will rule the world. Your days are numbered, apes. Isla not scared, Azala. Fight any time.
Isla suddenly fell to her knees and let out a resounding belch that echoed through the entire cavern and blew Chrono and Marl off their feet.
Chrono, leave now. No fun for Isla.
The next morning, Chrono had announced that they were going. Now they were saying their farewells. Kino was also there, and raised his head.
Kino, sorry. Try to be strong like Chrono.
Luca grinned.
I had a great time. Thanks for the poi recipe.
Marl smiled.
Good luck with the reptiles. Yeah. Give Azala one for us.
Chrono finished as they turned to leave. Isla called after them,
come back sometime. Dance, eat, fight, fun.
The gate was only one trip to the Mystic Mountains away. January 21, 1000 AD. The three gratefully accepted Irvin's offer of breakfast before heading down to Melchior. The old man smiled as they walked in.
Oh, hello. Given up on the Dreamstone?
Chrono casually tossed the red rock at Melchior.
I tend to doubt it.
For a moment, he thought Melchior was going to have a heart attack. He was just sitting there, staring at the stone. In his eyes, Chrono could see memories were flooding him like mad, and it was several minutes before he could speak.
How on earth did you find the Dreamstone? And the Masamune? No, don't tell me. I don't think my old heart could take it.
He looked at Luca.
Young lady, would you help me?
Luca practically jumped.
Sure. I'd love to.
As they walked down, she turned back to Chrono and Marl, grinning.
You two can be alone.
Chrono felt himself blushing furiously as he looked at Marl, who sat down on the couch and indicated that he should sit next to her.
Chrono? It's almost done. When the Masamune's completed, we'll take down Magus, and the world will be saved. Yeah. But somehow. I dunno, Marl. I'm just getting this feeling that it won't be that easy.
She sighed, then grinned.
Chrono, do you remember at the party, when I kissed you? Yeah.
At some time, Chrono must have fallen asleep. When he woke up, it was sunset, and Melchior and Luca were coming up from the basement.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
The old man was beaming, and Luca held a long bundle. The two stood by the window, and as Luca unwrapped it, Melchior announced,
"Take a good look. This is the Masamune."
As she held it up, the last rays of sunlight caught and reflected off the sword. Beautifully polished, the sword was a masterpiece, with intricate designs all up and down the blade from a time long ago. A small orb of untempered dreamstone formed the pommel-stone on the smooth golden hilt, and he could tell instantly that the blade razor sharp.
Awesome! What a weapon!
Marl was amazed. Luca rear-wrapped the weapon and gave it to Chrono, and Melchior nodded.
Chrono, go and deliver that to Frog. What the, how did you know about Frog?
Chrono demanded, but Melchior shook his head.
You'll know. Someday.
January 22nd, 600 AD. After a couple days hiking to the south, the heroes arrived back at Frog's.
"'Tis thee again,"
Frog said sadly as he turned to greet them.
"Yes. And I believe that this is yours,"
Chrono said as he unwrapped the great blade.
"This sword. 'Tis they. Masamune."
Frog was startled out of his wits. He quickly calmed down, but Chrono still saw the gleam back in his eye.
I must ponder this turn of events. Remaineth here the night.
January 31st, 590 AD. It was a wondrous time for Guardia. The mystics were quiet, and the king had just been married. The only trouble was the Frog King, who had taken over the Dinodoro forest and mountains, and stolen the hero medal from Guardia Castle.
Cyrus,
the great knight, turned to see the youthful King Guardia looking back at him.
"Are you sure you want to do this?"
Cyrus nodded.
"Yes, I am. It's time we broke the Frog King's hold on Dinodoro and took the hero medal back. And I'd like to see that legendary sword that's rumored to be up there as well."
The king nodded slowly.
"I know you well enough to realize that nothing will turn you from this path. But be careful. Lean and I need you here, and I'm getting a bad feeling."
Cyrus bowed once, then walked out of the throne room. In the hall, the knights were all gathered to wish him farewell. Cyrus's second-in-command walked up, a boy of 16 with great talent.
"Sir Cyrus, we, the Knights of the Square Table, salute you and wish you well on your journey."
Cyrus nodded briefly and walked down the stairs, where Glenn, H's best friend and squire, was waiting.
"Ready, Cyrus?"
Cyrus nodded and they turned to leave, when another voice rang through the hall.
"Cyrus!"
It was Lean, the new queen. Cyrus and Glenn both bowed.
Cyrus, make sure you return to us safely. Of course, Your Majesty. By your leave.
He walked through the door.
Glenn, you take care too.
The green-haired young man simply nodded once and followed Cyrus out. Several days later, they had arrived at the Dinodoro forest that surrounded the Great Mountains.
So, Glenn, where do you think the Frog King is?
Glenn shrugged.
I dunno, Move.
The knight jumped to the left as a Naga slashed at the spot where he had been. Cyrus quickly turned and divided it in two while Glenn hit another with the flat of his blade, knocking it unconscious. Cyrus went chasing a third in the bushes.
Ha! You're alone, pacifist.
Glenn glared into the bushes.
Whoever's there, come out now. As you wish.
It was a male, humanoid mystic with blue skin. He grinned.
The name's Slash, and my job is to kill you.
With that, he whipped out a large samurai sword and charged at Glenn, who feebly tried to raise his blade and had it deflected.
Not good enough, kid.
As Slash prepared to deliver the final blow, another sword whooshed through the air. Slash screamed as Cyrus ran his sword through the mystic's leg. Another, shadowy figure dropped down.
Slash. Are you okay? Yeah, but we need to get out of here, flee. This guy's too good.
The two mystics vanished back into the trees, and Glenn stood back up.
Thanks, Cyrus. That's another one I owe you.
A rustling in the bushes caught their attention, and Cyrus raised his sword.
Whoever's there, you'd better come out. Now.
A very frightened-looking teenage girl emerged.
What's your name? Sarah.
Glenn nodded.
Sarah, could you direct us to the Frog King?
She nodded, and started down a path. Eventually, they reached a clearing, and the Frog King was there, with two small retainers.
What? A Knight of Guardia? I assume you're here for the hero medal?
Glenn and Sarah fell back as Cyrus nodded grimly. Suddenly, there was a rushing sound, and the voice of the mysterious flea rang out.
We decided to torch the forest. Have fun.
The Frog King did not seem to notice.
So you want it back, do you, Knight? Well, then come get it. Grip it.
Cyrus drew his sword.
As you wish, Pollywog. En garde. Nirvana strike.
The Frog King screamed as Cyrus's sword went deep into his massive gut.
AIE. How dare you pick on a helpless amphibian?
Actually crying, he threw the medal down and ran.
Filthy medal. I won't forget this.
As Cyrus pocketed it, Sarah spoke up.
We need to get out of here. It's too late for this forest.
Cyrus nodded.
We're going to the mountains to look for that legendary sword. Care to join us?
Sarah slowly nodded.
I don't like this, Cyrus.
Glenn voiced his opinion.
No mystics anywhere. Ah, they're just scared because of the fire. It's fine, Glenn. If you say so.
Sarah pointed excitedly.
Look! There's the cave.
Cyrus nodded.
Right. Let's go in.
Sarah shook her head.
Only the hero can enter that cave. Watch.
She walked over, but as she attempted to enter, a golden barrier formed, and she was unable to go any further. Cyrus cursed.
Damn! And we came all this way.
Sarah walked over to him, her eyes shining.
No. Cyrus, I think you are the hero. Go on. Me and Glenn will wait.
Cyrus looked at her for a long minute, then strode in forcefully. Sure enough, the field did not block him. Glenn grinned widely.
I knew it. He is the hero.
Several hours passed until Cyrus finally emerged, holding a beautiful gold sword.
Glenn! I did it. I got the mass immune. Excellent!
An unfamiliar voice rang through the mountains, and the two friends discovered to their surprise that it was coming from Sarah. Her eyes shone an evil red as she was surrounded by a black light, and when it cleared, a fat, green lizard-like mystic stood.
You pathetic idiot! Did you really think you were the hero?
Glenn stepped back, shocked.
S.A. Sarah?
The mystic sneered.
The name's Ozzy, Lout. I'm second in command of the Mystic Army. The barrier keeps out all mystics, so we needed some fool to get it for us. Give 'em the old only the hero story. Works every time.
Cyrus's growl of anger became a roar of fury, and he charged at Ozzy, whom he had trusted. In a second, dark figure stepped in the way, and with one blow, shattered the mass immune. The blade flew back into the cavern, but the hilt went straight for Glenn and went through his right hip before tumbling off the edge of the cliff. As Glenn bent over in unbearable agony, the figure uncloaked itself.
My name is Magus, leader of the Mystic Army.
Glenn wheezed.
Cyrus. The sword. The mass immune. Cyrus, I'm a goner.
Cyrus grimly looked down at his friend, then back to his enemies.
Run, Glenn. I'll hold them off.
Magus sneered at this.
I'd worry more about yourself, Cyrus.
The knight charged one last time, and the mystic leader smashed him back with a fist enveloped in blue lightning. Cyrus fell next to Glenn, mortally wounded. Glenn raised his face, and stared at Cyrus, who was horribly burnt.
Cyrus. Glenn. The king and queen. Guard them. Glenn.
Those were Cyrus's last words, as the second part of the spell was activated, and the noble knight of Guardia burst into blue flame.
Cyrus.
Ozzy ignored the burning corpse and focused on Glenn.
What's wrong, kid? Aren't you gonna try your luck? What a wuss. What'd say, Magus? Can't you give him a more fitting form?
The dark mage grinned.
Why not? There's always time for a little fun.
As he gestured, a globe of rainbow light shot into the heavens.
The Frog King is a friend of mine, Glenn. I find your treatment of him most unsatisfactory. And the beauty of this spell is that it only works on cowards.
On the last word, a bolt of rainbow lightning struck Glenn in the head, and with a scream, the young man tumbled off, with Ozzy's words ringing in his ears.
Gwa ha ha ha. You spineless wimp.
Frog gazed around at his friends, sleeping. His eyes then wandered back to the mass immune.
Near 10 years hath passed.
He sighed.
Can I do it? I've changed so much. Alas, poor Cyrus. Awake Chrono.
The teen looked up to see Frog standing with the girls, a resolved expression on his face.
Though we may fail, let us go to Magus's lair. Thou dost know of his power, correct?
Chrono nodded. Luca grinned cockily.
Nothing can beat us.
Marl also grinned.
We've come too far to lose to him.
Frog glanced at her oddly.
There is something strange. Sir Chrono, I must ask that you tell me of ye all.
Chrono nodded.
We need you to meet somebody anyways. We can tell you about it on the way.
Over the 2 days they spent traveling back north to Truce, they told Frog of their story. He was highly skeptical until they demonstrated the magic, and even then was a little wary when they reached the gate.
This will send us through time.
Luca pulled out the gate key.
Observe.
The gate expanded, and Frog nodded.
Lass. I believe ye. So, ye want me to meet with this Specchio? Yeah. In you go.
January 26th, 0000 XD. After Frog was done looking around and meeting the old man, they took him into Specchio's room. Robo was there, and so was a blue goblin. But where was Specchio? Frog immediately drew his sword.
Groupie! Stand back, Sir Robo!
The groupie began laughing.
Hey, bold brain! Explain to your friend who I am before he starts something he can't handle.
Chrono jumped.
Specchio!
The creature nodded.
Yeah, I'm a shapeshifter.
He turned to Frog.
What's up? A frog. You're getting water. Ipso facto mini mo magico.
Frog started to protest, but then stopped as the same glow surrounded him that had for Chrono and the girls. Smiling broadly, he formed a giant bubble of blue energy that floated over and smashed into Specchio.
Ow!
Frog chuckled, then turned to Chrono.
A most interesting thing. Now, who will go with us to Magus?
Chrono looked at the three others.
You girls okay if Robo comes?
Marl and Luca nodded.
Yeah, it's fine. Besides, it's almost time for Outlaw Star.
Frog perked up at this.
Ah, yes, this TV thing. May I investigate, Sir Chrono? Sure, we'll all take a one-day break to rest up.
Specchio raised himself off the couch.
That's all fine and dandy, kids, but right now I need to speak to Chrono here in private. So out.
Grumbling irritably, the group complied. Chrono looked at the fat blue thing.
What's the deal?
Specchio looked up.
Basically, I think you're ready to ascend to the next level of magic.
Chrono did a classic jaw drop.
What? Well, okay, but why'd you chase the others out? Because the process would attempt to affect all people in the room, and they're not ready yet. Would be painful. Now, then. Ipso facto mini mo magico.
The magical glow returned, stronger than ever, and Chrono felt his already strong magic powers growing stronger.
Lightning 2.
A line of yellow sparkled spiraled outward from Chrono, and a moment later, a fan composed of beams of yellow magic and lightning bolts radiated from him. Specchio winced again.
Ow! Kid, I wish you would stop trying your stuff out on me. Might as well call the other back in now, it's Outlaw Star time.
Robo was grinning wildly.
What's up, Rust Bucket? You did not tell me that random parts flew by here.
Specchio snorted.
Yeah, stuff gets lost through time, all the time. Speaking of which, I believe these are yours, kid.
Specchio held up a pair of stinky socks with reindeer on them. Chrono was stitched on them. When everybody was done laughing, Robo spoke up again.
I found a 2-second dash mechanism. Watch.
Without warning, Robo went flying at Specchio in a speedy tackle that sent the Master of War into a wall.
Damn it. Didn't I say not to use me as a training dummy anymore?
January 27, 600 AD. Chrono turned to Frog.
So, Frog. How do we get to Magus?
Frog looked blankly back.
I thought thee knew.
Robo facepalmed. Chrono suddenly perked up.
Hey, maybe Tom'll know.
It took 2 days of searching all 3 towns before they found him in a pub in Por. The explorer looked up as they walked in.
Hey Chrono, Robo. Hero.
Frog jumped.
How didst thee?
Toma chuckled.
It's my job to keep my eyes open. So, you wanna get to Magus? Well, I'm afraid I don't know how.
Their faces fell.
But I do know who does. He's a hench who lives east of Sandorino. Small guy.
Chrono broke in, incredulous.
Murray the midget.
Toma nodded.
Yup. I gotta go now, guys. Keep it real.
Chrono and Frog stared after him for a while, until Robo spoke up.
Excuse me, but I believe he has left us with his tab again.
Murray groaned as the rapping came again. Probably just kids again, he thought. Time for the big scary mystic routine. He whipped open the door.
Blearg.
Chrono blinked.
Hi.
Murray turned white.
Oh, crap.
Frog walked up, his face grim.
Dost thou know the way to Magus?
Murray nodded slowly.
Yeah, but why do you want to know? Got a death wish or something?
Chrono shook his head.
Nah. See this sword here? It's the mass immune.
Murray whistled.
I see. Well, in that case, follow me.
The midget mystic led them to the East Peninsula, and up to a solid stone wall. He pointed at it.
That's the place, buds. Remember, time moves at an accelerated pace while you're in there. For every minute you spend in that cave, an hour goes by in the real world. Now, I'm outta here.
Nobody bothered following him through the undergrowth. Frog just walked up to the wall and placed one hand on it.
Hey, you!
The cry ran through the forest, and the leader of the gang looked up, his face white.
Ah! It's Cyrus! Run for your lives!
The bullies fled, and the older boy walked over and helped their victim up.
Glenn, are you okay? Yeah, thanks Cyrus.
Heek. Cyrus sighed and helped the boy to his feet.
Glenn, sometimes you just have to grit your teeth and not cry. Once you do that, they'll see that you're tough, and won't bother you anymore. But it hurts when I get hit. You're a marshmallow, Glenn.
The young man made a sight fit for a picture, standing on the edge of the bridge, hair waving in the wind. Glenn walked up, a smaller, less impressive figure.
Hey, Cyrus. What's up?
Cyrus didn't turn around as he responded.
Glenn. I've been thinking of becoming a knight.
Glenn clapped a hand on his friend's back.
I knew you were gonna enlist. You'll make a perfect knight.
Cyrus smiled.
Hey, why don't you enlist too? You were better with a sword than me in our training.
Glenn looked down and didn't respond for several minutes.
I dunno, Cyrus. Those were just dummies. I don't think I could really kill somebody.
Flashing with the same rainbow light, Glenn tumbled off the cliff. Frog opened his eyes and saw something glittering in front of his face. It was in the river, and so was poor Cyrus's body.
The medal. The hero's medal.
The medal had snagged on Cyrus's lifeless arm. If it hadn't, it would have been washed away, lost forever. The hilt of the mass immune protruded from a stump. Frog turned away from the wall.
Chrono, handeth over the mass immune.
The teen instantly knew what to do. He walked over to the center of the clearing and plunged the sword up to its hilt in the dirt.
Take it when you are ready.
Frog strode over, and looked down at it for a moment, then raised his arms to the sky.
My name is Glenn. Cyrus's hopes and dreams stand with me, and now, the mass immune. I swear upon this sacred blade, forthwith I shall defeat Magus and restore honor.
He placed both hands on the sword, and blue bolts of magic electricity flew around the blade. As he drew it, and raised it above his head, a globe of blue energy formed and grew, until it encompassed a 1-mile radius, then instantly concentrated into a single beam of golden light that shot straight into the heavens from the sword. It was a sight Chrono would never forget. Gone was Glenn, the unsure pacifist, and neither was it Frog, their gloomy, self-defeating ally. Standing there, with the mass immune raised to the heavens, was the legendary hero, shimmering in the aura of his power. Frog turned and, with one stroke of the blade, divided the rock wall in half, revealing a hidden tunnel, and the three men rushed in, ready for their confrontation with Magus. End of chapter.